Good morning. Yesterday we have studied definition of management and characteristics of management. Today we will learn functions of management. A question like what are different functions of management? What is planning? What is organizing? What is staffing? What is directing? What is coordination? What is controlling? What is motivating? Communication and decision making. Likewise, question may arise in a question paper. We will start with first one, that is functions of management. Functions of management are planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordination, controlling, motivating, communication and decision making. These are 9 functions of management. Let us see first function of management, that is a planning. If people working in groups have to perform effectively, they should know in advance what is to be done, what activities they have to perform in order to do what is to do, and when it is to be done. Planning is concerned with what, how, and when of performance. Let us take an example. Suppose we want to build a house. What we will do, we will go to architect, we will draw a plan, we will tell our requirements to the architect, everything, dimensions of the plot and other parameters of the plot, we will inform him. Whether to build a tin shed or whether to build a RCC constructed house, we will give a information to architect. Architect will prepare a plan and accordingly he will provide a plan. So planning is essential and first step of functions of management. Now we will see objectives of planning. The first objective of planning is it gives direction to organization. This is very important parameter of planning. If plan is not made, organization work on day-to-day basis. To sustain in long term, planning is necessary in every business. Second objective of planning is planning focus on goal. We are a manufacturer of a car, then our ultimate goal is to sell more number of cars in the market. Plan only focus on goal. It does not focus on any other point except selling of the car. So this is a second objective of planning. The third objective of planning is it establishes basis for teamwork. Different people from different group work together as per plan. As I told you an example of constructing a house, a plumber, electrician, carpenter, etc. works in a predefined manner. It is nothing but a planning. So it establishes basis for teamwork. Simultaneously, many functions can happen when it is planned. The fourth objective of planning is planning helps in solving problems and copes with change. Though we are making foolproof plan, there may be 11th hour rush, and that is nothing but a problem that may arise during a planning. So that problems can be solved if we have a basic background of clear-cut planning, and if there is any modification, any change, then it can be resolved through a problem, through a planning. So in problem, it may not include in a plan. That means problem may not be included in a plan, and such type of problem arises when we are on the ground. That can be solved using pre-planning only. Then next objective of planning is planning provides guidelines for decision making. This is very important and crucial point of planning. If product launch after 1 year, then according to plan, we may increase or decrease employees. Management or employee can see large picture of future. Accordingly, decision making can be done using planning. Suppose in current year against a 1000 car we could sell hardly 100 cars, then there will be 900 surplus car in the next year. So 900 excess car requires to be sold during next year, whereas it is essential not to manufacture additional cars. In such a scenario, we have to reduce manpower. Management can take such kind of decision. It becomes easy when we have a planning. Let us see which are the different measures of effective planning. Effective planning is good and well established organization element measure. The first measure for effective planning is good and well established organization element. Second measures for effective planning is clear cut objective. We get clear cut objective while we have a clear cut plan. Third measure for effective planning is efficient and developed management information system. Everything is efficient and developed way. Fourth measures for effective planning is careful permission. Fifth measures for effective planning is top management support we may get. While functioning on a day-to-day basis, support of top management is very essential. Hence, if we have a plan, then management may support in advance. Sixth measure for effective planning is participation of every level in the organization in the planning process. If we have a sufficient planning, then from top to bottom, every employee, every manager, every top management will get involved in organizational activity. So this is important measure. Seventh measures for effective planning is sound communication among staff members. If we have a good planning, then communication among staff members remains strong. There will be no ambiguity among staff members. There will be no communication gap among staff members, and hence a sound communication may be maintained among staff members. Next measures for effective planning is integration of all plans. If planning is done properly in portions, it can be integrated and it can be executed simultaneously. Next measures for effective planning is open system approach. If plans are circulated among all employees, all management, all staff members, then it will be just like an open system approach. There will not be a communication gap among staff members. Let us take an example that while starting a academic curricular, university circular is issued. That circular goes to institute staff members as well as students. As it is an open system approach, students are communicated properly about a regular schedule, and hence students used to come in the institute regularly. So this is what a open system approach advantage. There will not be any mistakes in the system. This is an open system approach advantage. Next measure for effective planning is cost benefit analysis. It may happen that while constructing your house, you may first of all fit a carpet, and after that you may construct or you may go for another development. There will be a breakage and wastage of material while doing such activities. A random activity wastes a material and which is not affordable, or it will increase the cost of constructing the house. So if we have a clear-cut planning of constructing the house, then it will save a total cost. Hence it is cost benefit analysis. Next is features of good plan. If somebody makes a foolproof plan, or if plan is good, then it has some features. The first feature of good plan is good plan gives clearly defined objectives. A clearly defined objective planning, we can say that it is good plan. Second is good plan is easy to understand. A plan should be understandable to each and every person, each and every employee, each and every staff, each and every management, each and every officer of the organization. Good plan is balanced and comprehensive. Good plan provides standard to evaluate with actual performance. That means if planning is done that every year we are going to sell 1000 cars, a good company sells 500 cars and our plan is 1000 cars. We have a certain standard, that is 500 cars selling, and based upon which we are deciding our plan, we are deciding our target. So good plan provides standard to evaluate with actual performance. Then second feature of good plan is economical. Good plan is economical. That means it is cost effective. As everything is planned in an organized manner, this becomes economical. Total overall project becomes economical and cost effective. The next feature is good plan is practical. A plan should be practicable, otherwise in many cases it happens that plan looks good on paper but it may not work at the time of work actual execution. Such type of plans are not good. So good plans are practical only. Let us see next point, that is types of planning. There are three types of planning. The first one is strategic planning. Strategic plans are designed for whole organization and not for one unit. It formulates mission statement in first step. Strategic plan involves analyzing competitive opportunities and threats, also strengths and weaknesses of organization, and then determine how to position the organization to compete effectively in their environment. Strategic planning is no longer has time-bound activity, and it is a long-term planning. Top-level management design the directive and objective in the organization and they are followed by managerial and operational level. Second types of planning is tactical planning. We have seen that the strategic planning is a strategy decided by top level management and directives, while tactical planning is a planning that has been executed and developed by a middle level management or management like managers, supervisors, etc. This tactical planning is for 1 to 3 years, while a strategic planning is for lifelong. That means strategic planning is a long term goal, while tactical planning is